Are you planning your thrilling vacation and having trouble deciding where to go? Well, stick around, because in this video, we will be counting down the top 10 theme parks every coaster enthusiast should visit in 2022. Hey everyone, this is Kalahale from Destination Thrills, and theme park season is nearing full swing with many theme parks opening this month. This is about that time of year where I start to plan which destinations I will be getting my thrills at this year. I've done a little research for my own planning, and I thought I would share my picks for the top 10 places to visit in 2022. I know there are plenty of people out there that are casually into riding coasters that may not be aware of some of the thrill-seeking hotspots this year. So this video will be more beneficial for those folks versus coaster enthusiasts who probably already have their trips booked. I also know that many people can only do about 1 to 2 trips a year, so picking the perfect thrill destination is important. There might be some parks on this list that you've never heard of that are opening some really great rides in 2022, and there also might be some well-known parks that you may want to hold off until next year due to certain factors. Now, this countdown is specifically going to look at parks in the US, as that is where my research was focused for my own travel planning. I'm not going to pretend that I'm super knowledgeable about amusement parks in Asia and Europe, so I'm going to leave those out this year. Also, this countdown will be based on my opinion. There is no science behind it, just using my past experience and the latest theme park news to develop my rankings. When I look for theme parks to visit, I focus on 5 main criteria. 1. Do they have a solid ride lineup? Sometimes I look at how many coasters a park has. Parks with one world-class coaster may not be worth visiting a park with 15 awesome coasters. At the same time, quality does matter as well. If a park has 60 attractions, but most of them provide very little fun, then that park will not be worth going to either. So I look for a good balance between quantity and quality of attractions. Second, is the park opening a new ride? I always like finding the most innovative attractions to experience on my theme park trips, so I will be favoring parks that are opening some highlight new attraction in 2022. The third factor I look at is park experience and reliability overall. If a park has an amazing lineup but most of their coasters are closed throughout the season, then you may want to hold off on visiting that park until these attractions are available. Next, I look at the location of the theme park in relation to other theme parks. Many enthusiasts like myself like to include more than one theme park per trip, so finding a cluster of parks can really create a complete coaster vacation. And then finally, nothing beats personal experience. I haven't been to every park on this list, but part of my trip picking process does rely on past experiences. A park can look great on paper, but until you've actually been inside the park, you really won't know how good the park is. All right, so now that I've discussed the criteria, let's jump into the countdown. At number 10, we have SeaWorld Orlando in Orlando, Florida. SeaWorld has one of the best B&M collections out there, with Mako, a hypercoaster, Manta, a flying coaster, and Kraken, a floorless coaster. There isn't a whole lot of thrill machines in this park, but the quality is fantastic. What really bumped SeaWorld onto the countdown this year is the fact that they are opening a brand new record-breaking launch coaster from Premier Rides, Icebreaker. Icebreaker looks to provide a unique style of ride that may not look as large as the other coasters, but will bring a mighty punch with airtime and speed. You can also sync up a trip to SeaWorld Orlando with trips to Universal, Disney Parks, and Busch Gardens Tampa, which you may see later on this list. On to number 9, we have Kings Island in Mason, Ohio. Kings Island is one of those mainstay theme parks on this list. Even though their last major attraction opened 2 years ago, there is always hype surrounding this park. That hype starts with their 14 roller coasters. Diamondback, Mystic Timbers, Orion, Banshee, and the Beast are just some of the headlining thrill machines at this park. On top of it, Kings Island is always improving their rides. Over the off-season, major track work has been done on the iconic Beast roller coaster to make the experience more enjoyable. Kings Island also seems to always be on top of maintenance, which really makes their attractions reliable. In all of my visits here, I have never had issues with rides being down, which is confidence that you need when spending hundreds of dollars on a theme park trip. I've always had great experiences at Kings Island, and it will definitely be in my plans for 2022. All right, let's move to number 8, and we have Six Flags Great Adventure in Jackson, New Jersey. In my opinion, this park has a top 5 coaster lineup in the world. They have King Ka, the tallest coaster in the world, Nitro, one of the best B&M hypers in the world, and El Toro, which is consistently ranked as one of the top wooden coasters in the world. It's also important to note that El Toro will be back open this year after being down much of last season, so if you missed El Toro in 2021, this would be a good year to come back and try it in 2022. Also in 2021, they added the new Jersey Devil coaster and RMC Raptor model to their lineup, which further diversified the types of thrills this park provides. Great Adventure is also in a spot where you can add it to a road trip through the Northeast with its proximity to Philadelphia and New York City. I personally added it to my Pennsylvania road trip last year, and it was well worth the extra drive. Great Adventure has a lot to offer, and I really suggest making a trip there in 2022. Let's move on to number 7, and we have Six Flags Fiesta Texas. Fiesta Texas in the last 10 years has really stacked their coaster collection, from Iron Rattler, Wonder Woman Golden Lasso coaster, to the new for 2022, Dr. Diabolico's Cliffhanger. This park seems to be the new favorite child of the Six Flags chain. Now, if you watch a lot of YouTube coaster content or follow coaster social media blogs, you may see that Six Flags gets a lot of hate for the way they run their parks, but Six Flags Fiesta Texas always seems to be an outlier, with many complimenting the park not only for their innovative attractions, but with the cleanliness and the beauty of the park. I have yet to make it out to Six Flags Fiesta Texas, but with the new dive coaster opening up this year, it's definitely a park that will show up in my plans. Alright, now it's time for our number 6, and we have Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida. Because Universal doesn't have a vast coaster collection, I have typically left it off the countdown. But my first ever visit at the end of last year changed my mind completely. This park may not have dozens of coasters, but the coasters that they do have are world class. For example, the Incredible Hulk, a B&M looping coaster, is typically not a style of ride that I'm a fan of, but the length, execution, and the theming of Incredible Hulk provided an outstanding journey. The same can be said about Hagrid's Motorbike Adventure and Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket, but I think what really drew me to this park was Velocicoaster. Not only was the layout ridiculously entertaining, but just the modern look and feel of the design just provided me with a futuristic vibe that was very enjoyable. Now, I settled on ranking Universal at number 6 because I think its location to the other theme parks opening new attractions is very relevant. Florida is going to be the place to be in 2022, and if you're going to be in the Orlando area, do yourself a favor and visit Universal. All right, on to number 5, we have Hersheypark in Hershey, Pennsylvania. I visited this park for the first time last year, and even after 2.5 days at this park, I still feel like it wasn't enough for me. This theme park has so much to offer, and it is overwhelming in a good way. Not only do they have over a dozen roller coasters, but each one is worth getting multiple laps on. They also have a fantastic collection of Intamin roller coasters, which are very intense. You have Storm Runner, which has a mind-blowing launch, Fahrenheit, which has that beyond vertical first drop, and then Sky Rush, which has some of the strongest airtime sensations you will ever find on a ride. Hersheypark also happens to be in one of the best states for coaster lovers, as there are several other amazing theme parks in the state, such as Kennywood, Dorney Park, and Knoebels, so you can really combine Hersheypark with other great theme parks in one trip, making it a must-go-to in 2022. All right, at number 4, we have the one and only Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio. Unless something dramatic happens to this park, Cedar Point will always be on this list. It is called the roller coaster capital of the world for a reason. No park has quite the collection that Cedar Point has, with so many record-breaking attractions such as Steel Vengeance, Millennium Force, Maverick, and Top Thrill Dragster. It also seems that every coaster has fantastic duration, so you are never cheated out of ride time. The reason why the park is not at the top spot in 2022 has to do with the fact that it was announced earlier this year that Top Thrill Dragster would not open for 2022. If Cedar Point is a once in every 5-year trip for you, then I would suggest waiting until next year to see if Top Thrill Dragster is able to open back up. But if you make several theme park trips throughout the year, then of course you gotta make a stop at Cedar Point. All right, cracking into our top 3, we have Busch Gardens Williamsburg in Williamsburg, Virginia. This park has one of the most underrated coaster collections out there. You have Apollo's Chariot, a B&M hypercoaster, Griffin, a B&M dive coaster, Alpengeist, a B&M inverted coaster, and in 2022, they have revealed the brand new Pantheon from Intamin. Pantheon is one of the most complete looking coaster layouts, featuring every element you can think of: high-speed launches, large drop, strong airtime, quick turns, and long hanging inversions. The ride goes forwards, it goes backwards. Pantheon alone is a good reason to buy tickets to Busch Gardens Williamsburg this year, but also you gotta factor in that King's Dominion is driving distance away, which makes for a great combo weekend trip. And that's why Busch Gardens Williamsburg moves up to number 3 on the countdown for 2022. We've made it to the top 2, and at number 2, we have the park with the best coaster lineup on the West Coast, and that is Six Flags Magic Mountain. This park has the most roller roller coasters of any other theme park in the world with 19, and with the brand new Wonder Woman Flight of Courage opening later this year, the park will be at a record-breaking 20 coasters. It's hard to fathom being in a park where you have 20 roller coasters to choose from, and these aren't just like okay roller coasters. We are talking about 2 dueling coasters, a 4th dimensional coaster. We have one that's over 400 foot tall. This park has a lot of quality when it comes to attractions. Magic Mountain is just another one of those places that will likely find themselves on the list every year, just with how established their thrill rides have become. Now, which destination could possibly beat out a place with 20 roller coasters? Well, we will reveal our number 1 in just a moment, but first, here are some honorable mentions that just barely missed the cut. Finally, we have our number 1, and this year it has to go to Busch Gardens Tampa in Tampa, Florida. Busch Gardens has always been a go-to destination for thrill seekers with iconic rides such as Montu, Kumba, SheiKra, and Falcon's Fury. There just always seems to be this prestige given to this park. Busch Gardens Tampa is a place that even the general public is familiar with. Well, in 2022, that level of prestige is about to be amped up because they have opened Iron Gwazi, one of the most talked about new roller coasters since Steel Vengeance opened up in 2018. From the looks of it, Iron Gwazi has the potential to be one of the best roller coasters in the world. With its aggressive nature, airtime, and inversions, I know personally I'm gonna make the trip to Tampa just to get my ride on Iron Gwazi. And if I were to make a trip recommendation this year, I would advise you to visit all 3 Florida theme parks on this list in one big trip. So these were my picks for the top 10 US theme parks that every thrill seeker should visit in 2022. Now I want to hear from you. Let me know in the comments what parks you'll be checking out this year. Now, if you enjoy these countdowns, I have plenty more on my channel. I will link the countdown playlist in the description below, along with my top 10 roller coasters opening up in 2022 video in the card above. Also, as I mentioned, I have begun to plan out my theme park trips for the year, so be on the lookout for a video detailing all of the places I look to visit in 2022. So make sure you are subscribed to Destination Thrills so you don't miss out when the next video drops. Thank you all so much for joining me on this countdown. I'm Cullah Hale. Stay safe out there and have a good one.